Uber Eats just lowered their base pay. So, what does this mean for Uber Eats drivers? And will DoorDash and other gig apps follow? And we're also going to talk about another interesting topic because how the customer will always pay. So, let's get started. It all started, I saw this order. I was just like, you know what? It's kind of slow today. It's 6:46 for 2.7 miles. I can knock this one out pretty fast. And I did. Didn't really have any issues at all. But then I saw this one right here. $1.78? 9.5 miles. Not only is it upside down terrible order, but hey, this is under $2 base pay. And that kind of alarmed me. And I was just like, well, let me just look at the order that I just did. And here it is. I mean, it's the base pay, $1.50. The tip was $4.86. Grand total, $6.46. And when I first saw this, I was about in disbelief. I'm like, come on now. How can you go lower on your base pay? Because if anything, things need to go up higher because the cost of living these days is just not always that easy. Then I thought about, hey, from $1.50, this is just starting to set up just for $1 base pay until there's no base pay whatsoever. Then just to think if Uber Eats is going to do this, a lot of these other gig apps piggyback off each other. They're all watching each other, see what works, see what doesn't work. They've done this with base pay. They've done this with reward systems and tier systems. And this thing's not going to stop. They're all pretty much testing and tinkering, and we're all the guinea pigs. So let us know in the comments below, what's your thoughts on the lowering of the base pay? Do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think it could get better? Or do you think all these gig apps are going to do it? But another thing kind of got me a little bit curious. So I quickly got a little Dasher poll, and this is where I actually ask, has Uber Eats lowered its base pay in your market to $1.50? And we only got like 45 votes within like the 8 hours, but we still had 38% said yes, 16% said no, and 47% had no idea. And I'm just down here in the South Dallas market. And if you've noticed this in your market, let us know in the comment box. Is the base pay lower? And let us know where that is, so we can kind of get this thing pinpointed. Because this is all just tested just in a few different markets, and I just happen to be one of them. I'm sure this is going to just start spreading just like a virus. So now the question is, so what do we do as a gig worker? If the base pay is going to go down, and it continues to go down, how are we going to make this thing work? And it's pretty much going to be just the same thing. We're going to have to decline the bad offers and accept what's acceptable. Whether you're still looking for that $2 plus per mile, $1.75, $1.50 per mile. It's just the same strategies, but they're just changing up a few things, and it makes it a little bit tougher. And it's going to be coming down to the point where the customer is just going to pay it all. But I'm sure as these orders keep on getting like tossed around from driver to driver, yeah, the base pay may inch up a little bit and inch up a little bit more, which is why they always need more drivers. Is how many times do we see those upside down orders where it's like, how in the world are they going to get this pushed out? Now, I first started out with Uber Eats, basically in my first month-ish, before I even started Doordash. But even when I first started, it was only a $2 base pay then. Hopefully it's not going to go down lower, because in my market, at least from what I've seen, being an Uber Eats driver has been tough. Because with all the low orders, I've even considered trying to get up to the preferred driver, but there's no way I can get up to those tier systems if all these orders are so low. And still, you had to stick to our guns with not taking those low ball orders that'll just keep us spinning our wheels. And we're just staying in one place. Now I can just imagine someone asking me,
would you even lower your standards under $1.50 a mile?
And to stay in these tier systems, yeah, you kind of have to. There's going to be times where I've done like $1.20 a mile. There's been times even I did $1 a mile. I can't stand doing $1 a mile, but I'm not going to lie about it. I've done it, but that is not a practice. Now, more of a practice, I've been like maybe $1.20, and especially on a certain time of the day, if it's not during those main hours of the lunch shift or the dinner shift, and even breakfast shift isn't all that bad either. But there's a lot of those times it's those in between hours that can be a little bit slower. But sometimes you can still get some really good offers out there, so you definitely can't rule that out. And if you're a full-time driver, it's pretty much you're going to be out there anyways, no matter the time, and especially no matter the weather sometimes either. And since this has pretty much been a life as a gig driver, no matter if we are doing Uber Eats, Grubhub, Doordash, or anything else, what is it just in the life as a customer? Because when I put myself in the customer shoes and I'm just looking at a regular DoorDash order, and I set myself up at like getting like just a regular 10-piece chicken nugget meal, and it puts it at $9.99. It shows a delivery fee of 49 cents. It shows the fees and estimate taxes, $3.82. And we have a Dasher tip of $2.25. And this was the suggested tip that it gave me. And it automatically had that $2.25. And it shows like right there beyond that, $1.75. And right above that, $2.75. Then it has other. Then you see right there, the little fine print, 100% of your tip goes to your Dasher. But then you see a grand total of $16.55. All for a McNugget meal. So you went from $9.99 to $16.55 for one meal. Now, a lot of times when I'm actually out there and I'm thinking, man, I'm just picking up just one meal, and I just wonder how much this costs. And now I know, and it's pretty expensive just eating for one. But let's dig just a little bit deeper here. Let's go ahead and look at delivery fee. So the delivery fee varies from each restaurant based on your location and other factors. This order is eligible for promotional delivery fees. Interesting. So let's go ahead and look at the fees and estimated tax. Service fees, $3. So that's pretty much the minimum. That is the base pay. It says this 15% service fee, minimum $3 and maximum $14.99, helps us operate DoorDash. The service fee maximum promotion may override a different service fee promotion. We will apply the most generous offer automatically. That's interesting. A generous offer. But let's keep going. Estimated tax is 82 cents. The tax amount shown before checkout is an estimate. The final tax amount shown on your order receipt might be lower or higher than the estimated amount shown before checkout, and is calculated when you place the order. And if I'm going to estimate, I'm usually going to be guessing high, because even when you go back and look, the fees and the estimated tax is a total of $3.82. So I guess the most generous was the base $3. Still, ouch, $16.55 for one meal. Because then you also want to look at the Dasher perspective, because as of today, right now, of making this video, DoorDash's base pay is $2. And if the tip isn't high enough, the base pay is going to keep on going, being pushed up until a driver actually takes it. So between that and the delivery fees, this is why these companies are always trying to gouge and nickel and dime where they can, especially when it comes to base pay, because not only is the customer being charged like X amount of money, but there's also fees on the restaurant side as well, which I wish I had some intel on that, because when you put all these fees combined, we can see how these gig apps make their money. It's going to be from the customer and the restaurant. And as us drivers get paid, it all kind of gets all balanced out somewhere within. And that's why the companies come out, slide a little bit of that base pay out just a little bit at a time, despite they're still raising prices from the customer and the restaurant. Because even looking at a business perspective, they have to raise prices because they may have more demand, even though they are $1 billion company. And there's a lot of these people make a whole lot of money. But when you get this between the millions, and I do mean millions of orders all the way around the world, this is a lot of money. And for them to actually go up in base pay, even 50 cents of base pay, is a lot of money that they're going to lose. But on the flip side of them lowering it 50 cents, it's just that much more, and it's a lot of money that they're actually going to be making. And it'd be really interesting to know the details of these companies and where all the money is actually going to. But let's look at another customer perspective here, because we see this is a DoorDash order. Now the customer is paying $9.99 for that meal. When you get all your delivery fees, your taxes, and your tips and everything comes up to $16.55. You got that, right? So let's look at the flip side of what if you just order from the app? Would it be cheaper? What do you think? Oh, yes, it is. Instead of at $9.99, it's now $9.19, which is like an 80-cent difference. And this goes to prove how the customer always pays. Because even with the restaurant fees, they're just going to inflate their prices on the DoorDash app or on the Uber Eats app or all these gig apps here to cushion the blow on their end. It makes you wonder, how much are the restaurant fees? Would that 80 cents cover that restaurant fee? I would think so. They're probably actually making just a little bit more profit off the customer. That's why I say the customer always pays. And it looks like they're probably going to pay all. So we go to the next. It says subtotal of $9.19, the sales tax of 76 cents for a grand total of $9.95. If we just go get it ourselves, we had the curbside, the table service, the counter, or the drive-through. And this would be the same exact McNugget meal. Whether you want to pay $9.95 or $16.55, it's all about your convenience. But what if I wanted something a little bit higher end than McDonald's? What if I wanted like maybe a Red Lobster, and maybe there's a few of you, and you might all get like a Cajun chicken Alfredo for $22.79. Someone want to get the Atlantic salmon for $28.79, or the crab your way for $37.19. Then you got the Admiral's Feast for $33.59, and with a subtotal of $122.36, we have a long distance fee of 99 cents. We see the fees and estimated taxes $24.26, and I'm not too sure, didn't look into really close of that $10 discount. We got the Dasher tip for $16.88, which is 11% percentage. And right under that's the 10%, right above is 12%. Then we have the other for a grand total of $154.49. Let's check out the fees and estimated tax right here, because we know from the McDonald's it was $3. But here we're going to see the big whopping $14.99. So pretty much the more you spend, the more these service fees are going to be, which makes sense. But man, $15, yeah, and still a low base pay. The same low base pay. Then orders like that, these gig apps are banking. So let us know down in the comment box, what do you think about all of this? Even from a gig driver perspective, no matter if you're driving for Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, or anything else, or maybe you're one of the customers. Put your thoughts down in the comment box.